Hello everyone, hope you are all well. Welcome back to my channel English World. Those who are watching me for the first time, I request you all please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to get all the updates about my channel. And those who are already member of this family English World, I request you all to please share my videos with your friends and other known people and make this family bigger. Let's talk about today's video. Earlier, I made a video about the background study for European classical literature. That was the part 1 of the video, and this video will be the part 2 of the background study of European classical literature. So those who haven't yet watched that video, I request you please watch that video first, then come to this video, and you will get the link of that video in the description of this video or in the I button of this video. If you remember that in that video, mainly I talked about Plato's theory of art and all of that things. And in this video, I will mainly talk about Aristotle's theory of tragedy and 6 elements of tragedy and his definition of tragedy, and what are the some terms which can be asked in your various competitive exams that was that was popularized by Aristotle. And here I would like to tell another thing that these two videos, I like the title of these two videos are mainly the background study for European classical literature. But these two videos can be also read, like who are reading literary criticism. So these two videos will also be the first two parts of literary criticism. Like when we start reading literary criticism, first we study Plato's criticism, then we study Aristotle's criticism. So mainly in these two videos, I discussed that only. Okay, so those are reading literary criticism also can watch these two videos. If you remember that earlier I told you that Aristotle was the disciple of Plato, and so Aristotle was also a Greek philosopher, and in many cases Aristotle did not agree to Plato. So let's see what are those things. Earlier I told you in earlier video that according to Plato, art is a inferior copy or the imitation of the worldly objects. So those are inferior. But let's see what Aristotle says. Aristotle says art or poetry is not a mere copy or imitation. When a poet creates something, that is actually the artistic imagination, because when a poet writes some things, he adds his imagination, his imaginative things to that poetry. So it's not a mere copy, so it is not also a inferior. Okay, so this was Aristotle's theory of imitation or mimesis. I told you that this word mimesis in earlier video also. Mimesis also means imitation. Okay, making a copy of something, that is called mimesis. I'd like to tell that what was the book that Aristotle wrote, and there he discussed all of these things, that is Poetics. So Aristotle wrote Poetics, and in earlier video what I said, what was the book written by Plato where he discussed these things, that was Republic. So Republic is written by Plato, that was in 10 books, and here Poetics is written by Aristotle and it has 26 chapters. Okay, remember this can be asked in many exams. If you see that in Poetics, mainly Aristotle talks about poetry, the structure of poetry and all. But those who are actually written for poetry, those can be relatable to all kinds of arts like drama and all. So those will be applicable to other things also. So now when we will discuss about Aristotle's definition of tragedy, so actually he talked about tragedy as a genre of poetry, but this can be applicable to tragedy as a genre of drama and others. Okay, so as a definition of tragedy, Aristotle said that tragedy is an imitation of an action that is serious and complete, and as having and magnitude that is complete in itself. So this is the definition of tragedy given by Aristotle. And according to Aristotle, a tragedy has 6 elements. Let's see what are those 6 elements. First one is plot or mythos, and second one is character or ethos. Then the third one is thought or diania, and then the fourth one is language or diction, whatever you say, and in Greek that is called lexis. And music, there is a fifth one, music or melopia in Greek. And the last one is spectacle or obsess. So these are the 6 elements of tragedy. And now Aristotle told that plot is the soul of tragedy. Now what is plot? Plot is actually the sequence of events, like arrangements of the events or the incidents in a sequence. That is the plot. Okay, so according to Aristotle, plot is the soul of tragedy. And Aristotle told that a plot must have 3 unities: unity of time, unity of place, and unity of action. Now I will talk about some terms of like those are related to plot, and those were created by Aristotle. So first comes anagnorisis. So what is anagnorisis? Anagnorisis means discovery of the situation. And here I would like to explain these things with the example of Oedipus Rex. So that is in your syllabus in first sem, like in the paper of European classical literature. So and Aristotle also take this tragedy as an ideal tragedy to give the examples. So if you see the anagnorisis, what is anagnorisis in Oedipus Rex? Anagnorisis means, I said that it is the discovery of the current situation, like of the exact situation. So here in that play, anagnorisis is when Oedipus like finally finds out that he himself had killed his father and he has married to his mother. So this is the anagnorisis of the play. And the next term I would like to discuss, that is peripeteia. Peripeteia means reversal of the situations. Peripeteia is followed by anagnorisis. So after the discovery of the situation, the things happen, that is peripeteia. So in the Oedipus Rex, after the discovery that he has like Oedipus has killed his father and his present wife is actually his mother, so it is the anagnorisis. And after this, whatever situation follows, those are actually peripeteia. And now comes the most important part, that is catharsis. This term catharsis means purgation or purification or cleansing the unhealthy emotions, inspiring by pity and fear. So what is this? So when we read a tragedy, or we watch the movies in the theater, like after watching the movies, when we see a tragic end, like we feel sorry for the character. We feel like sometimes there comes tears in our eyes, and we feel pity for the character, like Oedipus. We feel pity for the character, and there is also the fear of what, like what happened, like Oedipus killed himself by with snatching in his eye. So this is obviously terror, this is fear. So the emotions are these are the emotions we also feel. And now what is the need of that? See, in everyday lives, in our lives, so there are many types of emotions that are created. Like we feel like there are many things which make us sad, make us like we feel fear, we feel angry. There are many emotions that is not like every time we cannot what I'll say, we cannot release these emotions properly. So those are in our mind. So when we watch a movie or watch a tragic like tragedy or whatever, So these emotions are purified, these emotions comes out, and we like we connect with the character, and that helps us to cleanse our emotions also. Like then without that, that's what why we go to watch movies. Otherwise, why we will go to the movie, like to watch a movie giving our money, and there we will cry watching the tragedy. So that's what the work of the like that is called catharsis. Like it is the purgation of all the unhealthy emotions, and that is created like followed by pity and fear. So if we talk about Oedipus, so we pity on the tragic end, like what happened to Oedipus, and we also fear like if this happened, like if this can happen to a king, he is in a high position, so some things can happen to us also. So this is a fear, it also create a fear. Okay, so this is the work of catharsis. And now comes to another like another term popularized by Aristotle, that's not related to plot, but that is related to the second element of tragedy, as I said you, that is character or ethos. So he said that the character or the tragic hero of a tragedy must be of a high position, like societal high position. Like in Oedipus Rex, we see that he is a king. Obviously he is in high position. And the second one is, that's the term, that is hamartia. Hamartia means tragic flaw of the character. So according to Aristotle, the tragic hero must be a flaw in his character, that and that too, that will bring his downfall. So in Oedipus Rex, like if we see that he like in his early life, he knew about the like oracle, that he will kill his father and he will marry his mother. But he wanted to like he wanted to change the oracle by leaving his native place. So he doesn't have the power to change what he wanted to change. So that's here the hamartia. And if we talk about Macbeth, we see his hamartia, or the tragic flaw, was his greed for power. And if we see the Dr. Faustus, there the tragic flaw was seeking for more knowledge. And in Othello, we see the tragic flaw or hamartia is jealousy. So like in every tragedy, there is a tragic flaw, and that brings the downfall of the character. Okay, so these are the some things about Aristotle. And like as you have the paper of European classical literature, I think knowing these things is important to you as a background study. And those who are watching these two videos as the like as a video of literary criticism of Plato's criticism and Aristotle's criticism, I will request you that watching these two videos are not enough, so you have to study a book. Okay, so just go for any good book for literary criticism, that will that will complete your knowledge. Okay, and so that's all. I hope that this video was clear to you, you have understood the Aristotle's theory of tragedy. And still, if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section or in Telegram, wherever you feel comfortable, just ask me. So thank you for watching, and those who haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe, I request you. Bye bye, take care.